Welcome back to Garden Talk, brought to you by the Penn State Erie County Extension Master Gardeners. And again, today I'm your co-host, Mike Bailey, and I believe Ellen DePlacido is with me. Ellen, good evening.
Good evening, Mike.
Yes. All right.
I don't know if this evening is good. We kind of keep running over
Yes.
every
Okay.
time.
Are you trying to tell me I talk too much?
No, I would never say that. Never.
Okay. We're going to pick up on this walk around the garden thing, okay? We thought we were going to do it one show, but, and now we're on our third one, okay? But I think it's all good information, good reminders, good for us to think about, too. So
Right,
you're gonna pick up something because we finished up with potatoes, okay, and kind of don't be afraid to dig down around the base of them looking for those potatoes, and
Right,
don't pull those plants out yet. Let them die off. Let them nourish as many potatoes underneath the ground as you can, as they will. Okay, so you can get as much productivity out of them as you can. Okay.
I think one thing we might not have mentioned, we did mention the green potatoes, but we didn't remind folks that they don't want to eat the green potatoes and they should probably get rid of them if they
Yes.
see
Yeah,
the
you're
little
right
green
because
potatoes on the
yeah,
plants.
that stuff will. If you eat, you can eat a little bit of it, it's not going to hurt you. But
Yeah,
if you eat a lot of it,
right.
it's going to be a problem. And
Yeah.
the other thing that somebody asked me about the other day, this fellow that stopped in a red truck. Okay, he said, "What are those? What are those little balls that are forming on the top of my potato plants?" I go, "Well, those are seed pods." Okay, you had your flowers, and they were fertilized, and you develop a seed pod. They look like a small green potato, but don't eat those. Okay, those will really make you sick. Okay,
Yeah.
so those were not. Every once in a while you see them. You don't see a lot of them, but you will see some. Okay, we better move on.
Okay.
Carrots and beets.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we seem to forget easily about our carrots and beets, but we want to remember to weed them just like we do everything else and maintain consistent moisture. Don't let that soil dry out, especially around those carrots, because they really don't have anything to protect them from the sun and the heat. And give them some light feeding also. So don't forget them, and you'll have a good harvest of those. Um,
Can I
the
can I
lettuce,
throw in
yeah,
something
go
about
ahead.
carrots and beets, please?
Yeah. hmm
We're gonna plant another crop. Okay,
Yes, we are.
of carrots, of beets, for sure.
Beets.
But
Yeah.
I need to plant some more carrots because my carrots didn't germinate very well earlier in the year, and I've been
Okay.
meaning to do it, and I just haven't gotten to it. But I'm still
hmm
going to do it. But
Oh, good. Yeah.
trying to get beets and carrots to germinate in warm, dry weather is difficult.
Yeah.
So you
It's
got
hard.
to do something to temper the environment a little bit. You got to keep that soil moist. Maybe you're going to have to water it every day. Maybe you're going to have to cover it with a light, straw covering, okay,
hmm
to keep the sun from beating down on them. Or maybe you're going to have to use some of that row cover type of material to cover them up. So try to alter that environment and cool it off a little bit, but they will germinate for you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you trying to get all that in a short period of time?
Yes, I'm trying to talk
You run a
faster.
race. Okay. Lettuce. Okay. If you planted lettuce, I would say it's probably bolting by now if it hasn't already. And if it has bolted or is bolting, just remove it and plant something else that, would take maybe a shorter season. Um, Maybe more beets. Mike was talking about beets. You could plant some chard and some kale, um, collards, probably, and keep harvesting those leafy vegetables too, because the more you harvest your collards and your Swiss chard and your kale, you're going to keep getting those into the cooler weather even because they do like cooler weather. So,
Yes, and Ellen and Deb harvested the collards at the garden down in
hmm
Emmaus the other day, and
hmm
but they really did a pretty good haircut on those plants. Okay,
yeah, hmm
but guess what? They're back,
they're
growing,
growing.
looking
They're
wonderful
back.
now. So that's great.
Yep.
Now, as far as broccoli and cabbage are concerned, uh, you know, I prefer fall crops of those things. Okay, in fact, my plants are still on my back porch. I'm going to put them in the ground. Okay, in the next day or two. I started them from seed a couple of weeks ago, so they're in good shape, and they'll be fine. Okay,
hmm
because I'll be able to pick those into latter part of October, first part of November. But you got to watch out for those. Cabbage worms, okay? So on both on the broccoli and on the cauliflower. And BT is a wonderful control for those things.
Right.
And if you got slugs, iron phosphate, again, is great. And both of those things are, biologicals and don't hurt you and don't hurt the plants, and stuff like that, but they will take care of your problems. Uh,
hmm
with the broccoli, you got to harvest it on time. One of my neighbors up the street told me, he says, you had this great big, nice big head of broccoli. He says, I'm going to give it another couple of days. He went on a couple of days later. It was all yellow. Okay, it all got, yeah, it all blossomed. Okay, and stuff like that. But cut that off, throw it out. Okay, fertilize that plant, give it a little bit of moisture, maintain it. Don't pull the plant out like he did. Okay.
Yeah.
So, maintain those plants in a good, healthy manner. Keep the bugs off of them. Treat them with the BT, and they'll treat you very, very well. Give them a little bit of fertilizer every once in a while. Same with the things with the cabbage worms, the BT and the slugs, iron phosphates. Feed them, grow them, maintain the moistures, but harvest them before they split. Don't let those heads crack open on you. And say, it's going to get
too big.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bit bigger, and then you come out one day after a heavy rain and it's cracked. But you can still salvage some of it. Ellen, what about the herbs?
Well, again, weed your herbs, keep the soil moist, fertilize them, and then trim them back to enjoy fresh growth. And you'll have so much growth, you probably have to give most of it away so other people can enjoy it. But I love growing herbs. In fact, at home, I have some herbs that I had started from seed that we didn't plant at Emmaus and other places, and I have them in a nice big pot. That's kind of nice.
That's good. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Those little herb plants that you start. It's amazing what they turn into, So did we miss anything on our trip around the garden? Can you think of anything offhand?
Only thing we keep talking about feeding the plant. Did you want to talk about anything that we use to feed the plant?
Why don't you talk about it? You do it.
Well, we like that fish emulsion. It's a nice fertilizer. It's organic. It works well, and it does smell like fish.
Yes.
But it's great. I mean, we've used that at Emmaus ever since we started the garden. It's biological, so we try to stay away from some of that other stuff, but it works really well. So if you're thinking when we say feed them, we're talking about give them a little fertilizer, and we use the fish emulsion.
Yes, you're right. And one of the ladies from the garden club that came around to visit us a couple of weeks ago, she used it, but I'm not sure she mixed it right, because she said she put it around, and then she says those raccoons came in and they dug and dug and dug looking for the fish, and they kind of made a mess of her garden. So don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it. Just lightly. Follow the directions.
Yes, follow the directions. Okay. Well, thank you again for listening. I hope some of this information here was useful, good reminders for you, and I hope we did it in a lighthearted manner. Okay. Ellen.
Okay.
Good night.
Good evening.
Yes. Okay, fine. Thank you now. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.